Colorado sues business that allegedly marketed marijuana as hemp. Colorado's Attorney General is suing Greeley-based cannabis product retailer G, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, GEE Distributors, which does business as CBDDY, I don't know, CB Daddy, as well as owner Christopher Landon Eoff for allegedly selling marijuana marketed as industrial hemp. According to an announcement from AG Phil Weiser's office, the lawsuit filed in Weld County District Court marks the first action against an industrial hemp operator in the state under the Colorado Consumer Protection Act. The lawsuit alleges that some of the products sold by CBDDY contain THC levels 35 times higher than what is allowed in the state's regulated marijuana market. The defendant recklessly sold products that were, in some cases, more potent even than what's sold in state licensed dispensaries with little regard for requirements like lab testing and age verification, Phil Weiser said in a news release. State governments have been cracking down on intoxicating hemp-based cannabinoids in recent years. Industrial hemp production was first legalized nationwide by the 2018 U.S. Farm Bill, although lawmakers did not expect the action would give rise to a bustling market for intoxicating hemp-based cannabinoids such as delta-8 THC and THCA. The company's e-commerce site offers THCA flower, concentrates, and vapes, as well as edibles containing delta-9 THC, the psychoactive cannabinoid in regulated marijuana that appears in trace amounts in hemp. Eoff did not immediately respond to MJ Biz for a daily request for comments. Colorado regulators require that industrial hemp companies to have their products tested at one of 12 state certified testing labs, although hemp operators are not required to provide COAs to consumers, according to Weiser's office. Adding to the company's deceptive practices, investigators found that CBDDY forged or altered certificates of analysis to misrepresent its products as legal. The investigation also revealed the company failed to properly verify the age of consumers and made false and illegal claims of health benefits. So that's basically the end of the article. You can read more about it. It was first reported by MJ Biz Daily, so shout out to them, and you can read the lawsuit online as well. This is a topic that we've covered a lot, especially with regard to places like Texas. I know we have some litigation happening there at a state level as well, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, and I'd love to hear what the rest of the team has to say about it. This is Sohum with High 9 News reporting from Munich, Germany today.
München!
Yes.
München.
Far for New.
Mia San Mia for the Bayern Munich fans out there.
I lived in Munich for 3 years and Augsburg for 2.
Oh, man. I love that. This is one of my favorite places. I've been having a good time. Little aside, since we're talking about it, I went to the Romania-Ukraine match on Monday that's happening right now here in Germany for the Euros. And as we were walking out of a train station towards the stadium, we see 3, 20, 25, 30-year-old kids lighting up something that looked like not a hand-rolled cigarette. So we decided to talk to them a little bit. They broke us off a little bit of their official medical German cannabis, and we got to roll one up real quick while we walked up to the stadium and enjoy the match. So it's been an awesome time so far.
Amazing.
Bridging gaps.
I mean, so it sounds to me like Colorado's trying to clean up their act by regulating on these companies. They're saying no hemp.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I think that Colorado is a great example of I don't think there's that many of those operators. Like, where is the demand for THCA in a system like Colorado has, where access to real weed is so widespread throughout most of the state, other than maybe a few places where they have moratoriums? I don't understand why there's even a need to crack down on that. But if
because it's cheaper, because it's cheaper and not as inflated taxes on those products. So that's exactly why.
They're cheating. Is that what you're saying, Jason?
When was the last time you were in Colorado?
Man, last time I was in Colorado, I was on a private jet landing at the Aspen Airport.
Could y'all hear my eye roll?
I would argue that the only place that the Save the Children argument would hold any merit is in legalized states, because kids that can't get access to legal weed, you know what? They're either going to the trap or they're going to be smoking this Delta 8.
Yeah, and I don't think them cracking down on it is that serious, but I also don't think, if to your point, Jason, if they lowered the taxes on retail cannabis, they would slowly crush all of those other markets that are there, whether it's the illicit market, whether it's the smoke shop market.
I agree with that, and that's one of these reasons that all these municipalities are basically, handicapping the whole cannabis industry by having these erroneous taxes. The same thing that's happening here in California and many other states. It's not like it's not uncommon.
No, absolutely. And in fact, unfortunately, Colorado being the first place where we had high excise tax at the state wholesale level and high retail consumers tax, that was something that was used as a selling point in just about every other adult use bill moving forward. And I think, obviously there have been a lot of missteps when we're talking about the implementation of adult use cannabis, but I think using tax revenue as a selling point was one of the biggest missteps, because I don't think that we should be passing legislation for the purpose strictly of raising taxes on specific products or specific income or whatever it is, right? So there's a multitude of other reasons why we should decriminalize and regulate adult use cannabis, but generating tax revenue should not be one of them.
I agree. I do think that Colorado, though, unlike some other places, has done some very solid things with some of the tax revenue. Like if you look at Pueblo and look at Trinidad and places like that, there's signs everywhere at parks, at all kinds of things that say paid for by the taxes from medical marijuana, which is really cool. It actually gave us a kind of a positive face, but I think we also need to acknowledge how much hemp and how much of CBD products came from Colorado initially. Look, 2016, 17, 18, those years. And a lot of things were pulled out of mother liquors, and a lot of things were converted that probably shouldn't have been.
Did you say mother liquors?
Mother liquor is a part of, it's a piece of,
Just want to make sure.
Part of the extraction extraction equipment. It's kind of where when you're separating, there's a lot of things, a lot of cannabinoids that are held in the mother liquor. You can pull them out and formulate with them.
In the mother liquor.
In the mother liquor. We know a lot of mother liquors out there.
We do. Yes.
I'm going to slightly disagree and say that while it shouldn't be the primary selling point, it definitely should be included in the selling package to the public, because what you're telling the public is, instead of, or this is how it should be sold, is instead of us funneling money to cartels and to the illicit market and all these other things, that money now is being taxed, and revenue is going into your schools and into your roads and into your infrastructure. However, cannabis is not the save-all for your city. That means you cannot tax us at 40% and expect the business to be able to continue to survive.
Agreed.
That's the whole issue.
I think that's really the point that we're getting at. I agree that you can include it as a selling point, but the problem is that it now becomes, basically a big cash cow, and it incentivizes local jurisdictions to implement exorbitant taxes on a product that does not apply to any other consumer product.
Well, at the start of legalization, though, that's back to that same point, is a lot of these jurisdictions were sold on the fact that it's going to be this big cash cow, and they're going to be able to fill all the gaps in all their budgets, and that's how a lot of this was sold to a lot of municipalities in the beginning.
Agreed, and I think that's partially where it went wrong. And it's hard to say, because maybe without that, who knows? We might not have gotten the snowball effect we needed for it to carry momentum into other states. So obviously, hindsight is 20/20, but I think that's something that we can improve upon from a legislative perspective moving forward.
Fantastic.